Before the sun crests the peaks, the roof of the world waits. Shadows cling to the jagged crags of the vast, unforgiving Himalayas. In this frozen silence, ancient predators begin their solitary daily routines. The ghost of the mountain, the elusive snow leopard, finally awakens. A fleeting glimpse of life in a brutal, unforgiving vertical realm. As dawn pushes through the chill, the early avian chorus stirs. The Himalayan monal flashes iridescent colors against the stark gray stone. Survival here demands constant vigilance and supreme adaptation to the cold. Above, the alpine choof rides the thin, freezing morning mountain thermals. Every creature plays a vital role in this sparse, harsh ecosystem. Lower down, in the snow-dusted alpine meadows, frost remains incredibly thick. A red panda emerges slowly from a dense tangle of rhododendron. Its thick fur provides essential insulation against the biting morning frost. With meticulous care, it searches for fresh bamboo shoots to consume. The high-altitude forest awakens to a new day of fragile existence. The mist begins to break, revealing sheer, incredibly treacherous cliff faces. Bharal, or blue sheep, navigate the perilous ledges with impossible grace. They are the undisputed masters of these immense, vertical stone domains. Below them, Tibetan wolves move silently, hoping for a fatal misstep. The delicate balance of predator and prey shapes every single moment. Deep in the sweeping cloud-filled valleys, massive dark shadows begin stirring. A Himalayan brown bear rises heavily from its cold, rocky slumber. It moves with a slow, deliberate power across the frozen earth. Driven by an ancient instinct, the bear begins its morning forage. Size and strength are formidable advantages in this brutal alpine wilderness. On the valley floor, a pack of Tibetan wolves patrols tirelessly. They rely on teamwork to bring down prey on the slopes. Their paws leave faint tracks on the icy, snow-dusted morning ground. Unseen eyes watch them from the higher, more secure, rocky elevations. The morning vitality brings both immense opportunity and deadly daily peril. With daylight fully established, the snow leopard resumes its silent hunt. Its spotted coat perfectly camouflages against the rocky, barren, gray terrain. Patience is the ultimate weapon of this high-altitude apex, silent predator. Every step is completely calculated, every single movement silent and precise. The elusive wild cat waits for the perfect moment to strike. In the sweeping valleys, herds of kiang graze on sparse vegetation. These wild asses endure some of the harshest conditions on Earth. A fragile Apollo butterfly flutters briefly in the warming alpine air. Even the smallest lives contribute to the magnificent Himalayan mountain biodiversity. The vastness of the plateau humbles everything that walks upon it. The sky above the meadows is ruled by a fierce hunter. A golden eagle scans the barren ground with unmatched visual acuity. A Himalayan marmot stands sentry, watching the skies with high alert. One sharp alarm call sends the entire colony diving for cover. The eagle swoops, a masterclass of aerial precision and deadly intent. Among the icy boulders, a Eurasian lynx stalks with silent intent. Its target is the well-camouflaged snow partridge, scratching the frosty soil. Tufted ears twitch, listening to the faintest rustle of frozen leaves. The sudden ambush is a burst of raw, untamed mountain energy. In the high Himalayas, life and death are separated by seconds. As morning progresses, the dense rhododendron forests teem with specialized life. The red panda relies heavily on bamboo leaves for daily sustenance. Finding enough energy in these frozen leaves is a constant battle. It chews slowly, breaking down the tough, fibrous alpine plant matter. High above the ground, it remains safe from prowling terrestrial predators. Higher up the scree slopes, a massive figure continues its march.
The Himalayan brown bear possesses immense upper body strength for foraging.
It casually overturns massive boulders, looking for sleeping insects or roots. Nearby, an alpine musk deer watches the giant with extreme caution. The bear ignores the deer, focused entirely on its caloric needs. By midday, a heavy, flat stillness descends upon the rocky crags. The glaring, overcast sky drains the landscape of its morning energy. The snow leopard drapes itself over a rock to conserve heat. Hunting is too exhausting during the peak of the daytime warmth. It wraps its thick, insulating tail entirely over its sensitive nose. Across the valley, smaller creatures also surrender to the midday lull. A Himalayan marmot sprawls lazily across a flat, sun-warmed stone ledge. The thin mountain air makes sudden, aggressive movements incredibly physically taxing. A tiny Royals pika rests quietly in the shadow of granite. The entire ecosystem enters a necessary state of deep energy conservation. Down in the canopy, the rhododendron thickets become completely motionless. The red panda sleeps heavily, draped over a wide, mossy branch. Its dense fur prevents it from losing any precious body heat. A blood pheasant rests beneath the dense, protective shade of brush.
Panting softly, the red panda regulates its temperature in the stillness.
Even the apex predator rests, but its mountain senses remain sharp. The snow leopard opens one eye, detecting a tiny, sudden movement. A Himalayan jumping spider navigates the vast expanse of gray rock. This microhunter tracks tiny alpine flies with its incredible central eyes. Uninterested, the massive leopard closes its eye and returns to sleep. In a shallow valley depression, the brown bear has finally stopped. It sprawls heavily on its side, slipping into a deep slumber. Digestion of tough roots requires massive amounts of resting physiological energy. An alpine choof hops fearlessly near the sleeping mountain giant. The bear twitches its heavy, clawed paws in a deep dream. High on the ridges, the afternoon lull begins to slowly shift. The red panda shifts its weight lazily among the canopy branches. Temperatures will soon begin dropping as the daylight slowly fades away. Its beautifully striped tail hangs down like a thick, furry pendulum. Slowly, the panda opens its dark eyes to a cooling world. The overcast sky shifts, introducing warm, muted tones to the crags. The snow leopard awakens, stretching its incredibly long, flexible spine deeply. It yawns widely, exposing rows of lethal, perfectly adapted predatory teeth. The resting period is over. The mountain hunger returns with force. It meticulously grooms its massive paws, preparing for the evening hunt. The brown bear also wakes, resuming its heavy descent into valleys. It sniffs the cooling air, searching for the scent of carrion. Every calorie counts as the harsh Himalayan twilight rapidly approaches. It pauses to lick up tiny insects exposed under a stone. Its heavy footfalls echo quietly as shadows begin to stretch completely. High on the vertical walls, the Himalayan tahar maintain their vigilance. Their exceptional balance is their primary defense against slipping or ambushes. Wolves watch from below, hoping the cooling air brings a mistake. But the true danger approaches silently from the jagged ridges above. Its eyes lock onto the distant herd with absolute predatory focus. As the air cools significantly, the red panda descends to forage. It must consume massive quantities of bamboo before total darkness falls. The fading light creates a brief window of frantic animal activity. With specialized wrist bones, it grips stems like a true thumb. Fully fed, it retreats upward before the mountain darkness completely dominates. Fierce winds aggressively scour the sweeping valleys as the day wanes. A golden eagle fights the turbulent updrafts for one last scan. The shifting thermals signal that the time for flight is ending.
Smaller birds must seek immediate shelter from the rapidly cooling gales.
The massive aerial apex predator finally retires for the freezing night. As twilight falls, the true masters of endurance finally step forward. The wolf pack thrives when the brutal temperatures drop below freezing. Their coordinated patrols strike profound terror into the scattered grazing herds. Nothing escapes their incredible night vision and incredibly keen olfactory senses. The smallest mammals quickly seal themselves beneath the freezing rocky earth. Even the massive brown bear must seek absolute shelter tonight. Temperatures on the open slopes will soon plunge well below deadly. The safety of stone provides the crucial insulation needed to survive. It scrapes together a meager bed of frozen earth and stone. The giant slumbers, entirely hidden from the unforgiving frozen mountain night. The unusual Tibetan sand fox thrives in this incredibly sparse environment. It listens intently for the frantic movements of buried small mammals. Every successful twilight hunt is a tiny victory against starvation. The Eurasian lynx also utilizes the fading dusk to maneuver unseen. Shadows obscure the predators, turning the mountain into a perilous maze. The blue hour settles, transforming the world into a freezing void. The snow leopard begins its terrifying ascent into the absolute heights. It possesses an unparalleled mastery over gravity and sheer vertical space. Prey animals can only watch as the ghost claims the crags. Its massive tail acts as an essential counterbalance on unstable ground. Powerful hind legs propel the cat across impossible, deadly vertical gaps. Every single muscle fiber works in perfect harmony against the mountain. The distance between survival and tragedy is merely one misplaced step. Thick fur acts like snowshoes, providing incredible grip on loose rock.
It finally breaches the summit, claiming the ultimate high-altitude vantage.
This is the absolute domain of the undisputed Himalayan mountain ghost. From here, it commands a perfect, unobstructed view of the valley. No other terrestrial predator dares to climb into these freezing heights. It moves toward the very edge of the towering stone world. Here, at the boundary between jagged earth and the darkening sky. The day ends, surrendering the harsh mountains to an icy darkness. But life in the brutal Himalayas never truly ceases or surrenders. It simply adapts, endures, and completely masters the sheer vertical void. A constant, perfectly balanced dance between extreme fragility and raw power. This is the absolute roof of the world, forever untamed, forever wild.